Welcome to today's webinar presented by Supercoder.com. Supercoder.com is an online coding solution offering Part A and B coding reference tools, resources, and not more than 30 specialty coding and compliance newsletters from the Coding Institute in one site. I hope you enjoy this short session.
Some of the things that we're going to address are based on frequently asked questions. So I've compiled this, and hopefully it will help you as you try to navigate through the specifics of ASC billing and coding. We're going to be reviewing Medicare and commercial billing and coding rules for ASC and some of the key differences there, reviewing correct place of service billing or POS, understand NCC IEDIT and coding bundling procedures for ASC, review correct implant coding, and I'll help you to understand bilateral billing requirements and the differences between what Medicare and other commercial payers require. And then we're going to look at some of the frequently overlooked private payer contract pitfalls that may be costing you money. Let's first talk about ASC versus HOPD. ASC is a freestanding ambulatory surgical center. HOPD is a hospital outpatient department, which would include the outpatient surgical center that is a part of a hospital. Now, it doesn't have to necessarily be attached to the hospital itself, but it's owned by the hospital. A freestanding ASC does not have to be in a building all by itself. It only has to be independently owned. It cannot be owned by a hospital entity. And the difference between an ASC and HOPD is significant for a number of reasons. One is that they each have their own place of service code. ASC is a place of service code 24. And HOPD is 22. That's significant because a lot of payment systems are based on the place of service. So determining whether or not you should be billing for an ASC versus an HOPD is a crucial part of correct coding. When we look at HOPDs, another significant reason to understand them is that CMS pays HOPD significantly better than they pay freestanding ambulatory surgery centers. Now, CMS uses payment categories to reimburse procedures performed at HOPD, and those are called APCs. Within the APC, they've grouped procedures that they believe cost a facility about the same amount to perform. So they grouped procedures by cost and complexity in order to assign a value to each APC. And when you go on the CMS website, you can search for a cross-link between a CPT code and an APC to determine which APC is reported if you're reporting for an HOPD. Now, ambulatory surgery centers have a carve-out of that, and so they're based on a percentage of what the HOPD receives, and they're not open, or not all APCs are payable under an ASC when you're billing to Medicare. So ASC coding and billing has become a blend of physician and HOPD guidelines because CMS has taken a portion of the payment and the rules from HOPD, and then they've taken a portion of the coding rules from the physician side. They also have some procedures that they'll allow to be performed in an ASC. However, those procedures are still paid as if they're in a physician's office. So they're giving an ASC the option of accepting those particular procedures and scheduling them, but they will not reimburse them as if they're actually being performed in a facility. So they don't acknowledge the additional facility cost. So when and if you're involved in the scheduling of procedures at your facility, it's important to note for your Medicare and Medicaid patients, and also the payers that pay off of a percentage of Medicare and Medicaid fee schedules, whether or not you're actually dealing with a procedure that CMS has designated as office-based. Now, even though there is a reimbursement, it's significantly lower than what you'll receive if you're looking at the procedures that CMS has identified as facility-based procedures, or procedures that can be formed and should be performed safely in an ambulatory surgical facility or HOPD. One thing I want to mention here that's extremely important is that the CMS list of procedures that are payable in an ASC is by no means the limit of procedures that you can perform. The fact that CMS does not pay for a procedure when it's performed in an ambulatory surgery center is no indicator that it should not be included in the fee schedules for your other payers. Oftentimes, commercial payers will say if it's not on the CMS fee schedule, you're not allowed to perform it in an ASC, and that is untrue. CMS has made some decisions, sometimes based on hospital lobbying, sometimes just based on the reimbursement and where they want that reimbursement to go.
Supercoder is the fastest growing online reference tool with more than 25,000 subscribers. Call 866-228-9252 to get a free product demo or sign up at supercoder.com for a 7-day free trial.